calling up colleagues and talking sports cars. Today, join us as we recap the 2026 24 Hours of Spa. Hop in, buckle up, and get ready to lay it on the line. This is Not Speeding, Just Qualifying, a podcast that's just as fast as it sounds. Hello, family. I am David Lawrence, and welcome to the Not Speeding, Just Qualifying podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to today's episode. Before we get started, I have a question for you. Are you subscribed to our show? If not, what are you waiting for? Make sure your setup is all dialed in and ready to go for pole position. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube or YouTube Music at the Not Speeding Just Qualifying podcast. We're on a goal to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2026. So don't wait. Subscribe and then tell your friends to join us and make sure they are up to date with all of our podcast episodes. Subscribe today. For the last month, the Not Speeding Just Qualifying podcast has worked with GT Report to provide supplemental content to complement our website's coverage of the biggest enduros of the summer. Today, with the biggest GT race in the world confined to history, me and my colleagues have some post-race discussion for your listening pleasure. We covered a lot of ground in what I think was a short amount of time, so let's not keep you, the listener, waiting. Enjoy our roundtable conversation breaking down the CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa. All right, gang, if you joined us from our pre-race show last week, we are back after a fun trip through the Ardennes and a very eventful 79th CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa. And to break it down with me, a familiar friend and a new face. So with that being said, let's go straight into it. Let's first welcome back to the Not Speeding Just Qualifying podcast, Shanna Lutgert, our GT Report representative, officially in the media pen for the CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa. But I also want to welcome to our little round table another one of our GT Report colleagues who was a little bit more of a fan this time out, but you still see his photographs on gtreport.com. Welcome to the Not Speeding Just Qualifying podcast, Michael Jolley. Michael, welcome aboard, my friend. How are we doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, had a good time out in Spa. We're back home now, but I'm looking forward to talking about this race.
Awesome. And Shanna, like we said, you were our eye in the media center. How was it being up there, up close, personal, getting access to everybody?
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it a lot, especially when you start to know a couple of journalists and a lot of them in the media center had more experience at Spa than me. So it was really nice for them to help me and get around the paddock and also just see people again that I haven't seen since Nürburgring. Also teams and paddocks. Oh, I'm sorry, my cat is here, so he might be meowing through the through the podcast. But yeah, it was a really great experience. It was a little bit too hot at some point, but it was good.
Hey, no worries there. We also welcome our furry friends to have a little talk if they have some valuable input too. So I think this was our first time for both of y'all. Just overall, real quick, before we really get into the meat of everything, first impressions of Spa on a 24-hour side. What was it like for y'all?
Well, it was actually my second Spa.
Okay.
Well, I did Spa last year as well, but this I think this one was I think I had a bit more fun this year. I knew the track from a photography standpoint. I knew what shots I wanted to get. From a fan standpoint, I knew the best places to go. It was helpful having Shanna bring me Monster whenever I needed. That was very helpful to have. But from a fan standpoint of view, it's one of the best events you can go to in Europe as a fan. I think the SRO put a lot into it on the fan side, obviously with all the concerts going on. So the experience is great, and it's one of those I'm going to go every year till I can't go anymore.
Shanna, how about you? You were the rookie this time out. Definitely an eye-opening experience, you would say?
Yeah, definitely. I love the track a lot. I'm not a fan of split paddocks actually, because you have the different levels. I'm a big hater of split paddocks, but this one was fine for me. I think it was so nice to be there, to be at such a legendary and historic track, and it's such a historic race as well. Yeah, I would love to go again.
I'm envy of you guys. I'm looking forward to making my own trip to Spa. Hopefully within the next 3 years, I'm telling myself. So with that being said, we got a lot of headlines to cover, and I want to start with this. Shanna, you and me mentioned Tressor Attempto during our preview. Unfortunately, they learned how quickly things go from hero to zero. So tell us, how did it look from you guys' standpoint? Just for Tressor Attempto, what happened in that opening moment there?
Yeah, I believe it was Ariel Levy who was behind the wheel during the start, and from the team we got that he just twisted the car on a curb, and then he just like cut through the field, which would cause other cars to be collateral damage. So the first thing that I thought is that how he must feel himself. Like I hoped that I went to the garage to ask if he was okay and if the car could be repaired. But at that point, they didn't know it yet. And I think within the next hour, like the second Audi was also out. And then I was like, okay, well, this is if any team is having a bad day, it's them, obviously. So yeah, from hero to zero, basically after the Monza win to that. And yeah, it's just heartbreaking to see so much hard work goes into this event. But yeah, it's Spa. I guess it's the characteristics of a race with 70 GT3 cars.
It happens, unfortunately. By the way, let's shout out Jamie Day in that Vulcan Horse Aston Martin Pro entry, who actually managed to get away from that lap one wreck, managed to rebound. They actually finished, I want to say, top 10, if I remember correctly. We have a couple of people who might be jumping into our round table, so I just want to go ahead while we have the opportunity. Rick Kieweit has joined us. Rick, how are you doing, my friend?
Very good, very good. Thank you. Good to be here.
Likewise. And Rick, I know you were like me. You watched Spa remotely this time. What were your takes from the race?
I was just overwhelmed by the sheer bad luck of the 51 Ferrari. I think if it might have, well, it was almost 2 laps down. So it could have won by, let's say, a lap if everything went well for them. But they were just, every time they came back, they got struck again, and then they were thrown back again. And it already started with the Super Pole, with the magnificent lap of, Shanna knows this, but I think it was Rovera who drove the Super Pole.
Yes, it was Rovera indeed. He was crazy quick. He also said that what he said during the presser was very interesting about the strategy of going early. So he also, I believe, he did one of the sessions with just one set of fresh tires, so he keep them for the last bit. And yeah, he was brilliant.
Yeah. And in my opinion, they did everything right, but it just wasn't meant to be.
Oh my goodness. Rick, I love how you brought up Ferrari, because that actually was the next topic on my list. And Michael, I want to throw you in here on the Ferrari discussion. 51 Ferrari, fastest car in the field, but my goodness, was it the second but in your opinion, was it the second or the third right rear flat? I'm amazed that all 3 were right rear flats gone bad, but was it the third one that really did them in, or do you think the second one during the night was kind of like, this could be where they're in trouble?
I think it's the third one. I think during the night, it's the same with any 24 hour. In the night, anything happens, but you've still got those 12 hours to get back.
Mm-hmm.
It can be anything, no matter what race you're going to, whether it be Daytona, Le Mans, Spa, even Nürburgring. In the night, anything happens, but you still have so much time to get back. It's when you start getting into daylight and you know you're near the end of the race again. That third one, not only did it kill their race, it must have killed all of their hope of having that result. And I just think it would have been demoralizing as well as just race ending. And as a Ferrari fan myself, absolutely gutting.
Oof.
Absolutely gutting. I think that car is one of the most beautiful ones on the grid too.
Yes.
To see it go from the lead to that just absolutely broke me as a fan.
Ooh. Man, I'm telling you, and honestly, It's funny because Shanna and me were texting about that because Shanna had that 51 as an outside pick. I actually went with the sister car. And both of us were like, I know I was I know I got a little cringe when the 51 hit that third flat. Let's go to Porsche.
You can have two endurance races, the favorite right, okay? So just, you had them all, take it. You can't have them all.
For those who actually, and for those who are trying to figure out what Rick referred to, go back to me and Rick's post-race convo. You'll see where we're going with that. Shanna, let's bring another one of your outside picks back. The number 2. Unfortunately, your boy Merce Schuring. Sorry if I butchered the name on that one. But Schuring hit a little bit of a snag with a fellow Porsche man. That was Aichun Guven. Where are we? 2 big incidents in these 24 hours. Where is Aichun Guven standing? And did his reputation kind of take a hit with this one here at Spa? With that little anecdote he had with Schuring?
First of all, I wasn't sure what the move actually was. I had to rewatch it a couple of times to just understand actually what was happening and why he just turned in, for heaven's sake. I admire Guven. I think he is a crazy fast driver, and the moves he can do are incredible. I mean, when I think of him, I automatically think of Augusto Farfus. They have like the really, really heavy left foot. They can drive crazy fast, but sometimes they do things that make me wonder, like, what are you doing? And this was one of them. Funnily, I said in the group chat, like when Campbell was put in, because I had no idea what was happening to Matt Campbell. Matt Campbell, driver in my heart, but he just couldn't get the pace in that portion. I said, okay, I've seen enough. Put Guven in the car again, and like 6 minutes later, they put Guven in the car again. So he was fast. He had the pace. He had the balance in that Porsche. But I don't know. I don't think that Porsche Motorsport was very happy with him during that race, especially not clashing with the Bussen Porsche. I think one of the Facebook comments made a really good point about that on the Porsche being heavily financed also by one of the local importers. So yeah, I can imagine that the debrief was not very nice to be at.
Yeah, if I'm about to say Campbell's already looking forward to his blue oval career at this point, if that pace was any indication. For what it's worth, Guven, Campbell, and Frederick Makoviecki, remember Lauren Heinrich was supposed to be a third driver in that car. Despite Guven's penalty, they did come back to finish 4th. The Schuring, Buccalacci, Picariello, Boots, and VDS Porsche, the damage brought them back to 8th at the end. Let's real quick go over the class winners here. I want to start, let's go with the Bronze Cup. Kessel Racing with Dustin Blattner and another quick driver that a lot of us were definitely paying attention to over the 24 hours. Mathis Jobert, who was from Hypercar. Rick, let me come to you because you followed Jobert with his exploits over in WEC with Hyundai Genesis. Is it any surprise that Jobert is in a class-winning car at Spa, especially with a team as high of a caliber as Kessel?
I must admit, I was switching in and out with the race, and in the bronze category, it was really hard to follow if you weren't like continuously watching.
Fair.
So I'm sorry, I just can't add too much about the bronze car at the moment.
If you
wasn't it, or was it the Pro-Am category with the Corvette?
It was the yes. Yeah. Well, I do have them on my list. Pro-Am.
Because I remember the car from Le Mans, so.
Pro-Am, Ben Green, Jordan Love, and the Princes Alberheim took the Pro-Am category in their JMR's Corvette, so Corvette at least had something to cheer for. Michael, let me ask this. Ferrari also won the Silver Cup. Any take from you as far as the Silver Cup Rinaldi Racing?
I'm just happy to see a Ferrari on a podium. That's all. To be fair, the thing is, it's again like Rick's saying, it's really hard to follow these, especially from the stands in a non-English speaking country.
Oof.
Because I'm relying on the little bits of English you get, plus trying to watch the stream on my phone where I can. But to be fair, I'm just there for the race cars. I'm there to just have a good time. But I'm very happy to see a Ferrari on the silver podium and a Ferrari on the bronze podium. So 2 Ferraris, I'll take it. It's a win for me.
I can't complain. And I kind of, to an extent, do agree. Like I said, I did want to at least touch on each of the winners. I know it can be very hard for those who are not really like outside of the main to really to keep up with. But as we mentioned, Kessel Racing in bronze, Silver Cup with Rinaldi Racing Ferrari, Rafael Duran, Dylan Mettler, Alessandro Balsan. For those who follow Ferrari Challenge North America, Mettler will be very familiar to you, and Balsan, a former IMSA champion, and David Perrell joining them. And then I also want to show love to the Gold Cup winners, Ugo de Wilde, Tim Tramnitz, and Jens Klinsmann for Row Racing BMW. Again, if you're an American fan, Klinsmann's very familiar with his time with Turner Motorsports over in the IMSA WeatherTech series. So with that being said, now let's talk about the real winners of the day. Our winners of the 79th Crowdstrike 24 Hours of Spa, which would be Ricardo Feller, Thomas Preining, and Bastian Boos. Shanna, you did a beautiful piece on the Bastian, at least, for GT Report for us. How did Lionspeed pull this one out at the end?
I mean, I think they are going to look at that the upcoming days themselves. Like, how the hell did we get to the front like this? I mean, I think that Bastian told me that they were just they were just not taking like unnecessary risks. They kept believing in the process, and I think that's been like the main thing that got them to the front. Because I mean, we've seen many leaders going into. I think before I went to sleep, it was the HRT Mustang, and then when I came back, it was the 48 Mamba Mercedes, and then suddenly Lionspeed got the lead, and they just didn't let go of it. And I think the last phase, when they were still keeping level-headed and cool, I think that was the most crucial phase of the whole race, when they were just not taking any unnecessary risks, and they just kept the lead. And I think it was Thomas Preining who was taking the final stint. I think that was a good decision, because I mean, the man can drive. If you're talking about a Porsche Works driver, I think he also did the best average pace of all the drivers. I believe he was the fastest. So yeah, I think it was a dream combination, and I'm not sure if anyone else could have pulled this off. I think it was just a dream team.
Brining, to piggyback off you, Shauna, 2024 DTM champion, so he definitely is no slouch, to say the least, when it comes to Porsches, and he definitely just has a lot of power. Bastian Boos, he might as well be a Porsche Junior if he's not officially already, but the Dane, if you've watched GT World Challenge Asia, he knows how to fly in Porsches as well. And Ricardo Feller, he missed out on the IMSA 6 hour at Watkins Glen because he actually races with Manthey over here stateside. So I think he doesn't mind trading that one in. And real quick, I'll highlight the rest of the podium. Michael, the Ferrari fan you are, at least Tomasco Masca, Nicholas Nielsen, and Alessio Rivera did come back, at least grabbed a third with 50 car in fifth. So even though it wasn't the win, still the pace for a podium, Michael, if you want to comment on that, at least for Ferrari, I think that's still a pretty promising sign that things still worked out well in that category.
Yeah, I think seeing a podium for the car obviously in the top class is brilliant. I think it shows promise for the rest of the championship, GT World Challenge, and also next year's Spa. I think the car they've got is really good. Obviously, there's a few of that car on the grid, and I think the car's really quick. Having seen it race at Brands Hatch earlier in the year, I think it's a really good car. It's just it happens to be Ferrari. No matter what class of racing they're in, there is some sort of just bad luck involved that gets them taken off winning it. But I think the time will come. I think the car and all teams running the cars are heading in the right direction, and hopefully next year, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I definitely think next year Ferrari will have to be a contender when it comes down to it. All right, gang, we got enough time. I'll give us about a minute each. I got two superlatives I would want for each of us to go through. Who was your driver of the race? A standout driver who stood out to you above the field, not the team, but a driver who stood out to you. And then let's have a moment of the race from all three of you guys. So, with the driver of the race, I'll go last as I'm the host. So whoever would like to kick it off, I'll yield to y'all. Don't make me pick, guys.
I'll go first.
Shanna.
I think I find this really hard because I think that all drivers were just heroes in that race. That was crazy hot, crazy long, and just chaos. But I think I'm going to go for Tom Fleming on the McLaren. I spoke to him. I'm not sure what time it was. I think like 10:30. He just got out of the car and he was like being sprayed down by a strainer like a dried out flower. He was just out of the car. He was overheating and then he stood in front of me in like his underwear and a towel and asked like, "Hey, can I get some quotes?" He was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." Like he was just the fittest dude ever. And then he had great things to say about how they kept calm while the Ferrari had a puncture. And how they were, closing up the gap and just not getting too crazy, staying level-headed. And he also said like the conditions were crazy. It was so hot and everything. I'm not sure actually. Did they finish? Did that McLaren finish?
The 58.
Didn't they get an accident?
This was the Garage 59 McLaren that had the radiator busted. I think it was a late race restart, yes. And that took them out.
Oh yes, I see. Yeah, well, they didn't finish, but they should have finished. Like I think they were on the course of a podium before midnight, and I think he did it last year in Bronze Cup, I believe, and now this year he's doing it in Gold. Is it Gold? Yes, in Gold Cup. I just think that's awesome.
And to your point, Fleming, along with Benji Gotha and Louis Preti, they were a flying group because they were leading on merit during the middle of the night. So, and I thought I was like, since the 59 couldn't pull my pick, I was like, you know what? I wouldn't be mad if the 58 could. Michael from the grandstands, anybody caught your eye this weekend?
Yeah, actually, Ralph Bond, because I was hot at 38 degrees. Okay, I thought I was going to pass out. 55 degrees in a race car is insane. Mm-hmm. To be able to do that consistently, hours on end, and not crash, not kill anyone else or yourself is actually it's insane. Considering that, like, all the fans were saying this, it was hot. Even outside, sitting in the ground, it was hot. So to do that, I just think is, just a miracle. It's just the level of sports we're at now that they can do that is incredible.
And Rick, like me, you were sitting at home. Anybody stood out for you over the 24 hours?
Yeah, I think we already mentioned him briefly, but I think Preining drove a fantastic race, making a move for the lead at the bus stop against the 51. Unfortunately, with the FCY a little while later, but he did everything right. But same goes for I think it was Rovera, the Ferrari driver, who actually executed his overtakes flawlessly, where the others every now and then could have hit another car. I think Rovera was flawless, and they basically reclaimed the lead due to his stint, which was, again, flawless. It was quick, great strategy from the team as well, helped him. I think the Ferrari was very strong during the night. I can't pick between the two, but one of those is definitely they stood out.
All right. As for my driver of the day, this one's going to be a little bit under the radar, but once you hear the story, to get caught up on lap one, to have damage, to drive that car back, not knowing if you're going to be able to get back out again. I think they lost a lap, but fortunately they made it back up for where they were at lap one to a 7th place finish. I got to give Jamie Day his flowers for that, because those are the type of performances that keep you in a race and keep you in contention. For that car to still get a top 10, it's a testament to what Spa really is, because you got to get in there, you got to stay in it, and at the end of the day, who knows what could have been if they weren't involved in that lap one wreck. The way Spa goes, if 2 or 3 things go differently, we could have been talking about Vulcan Horse as probably one of the greatest comeback stories in Spa history. But I digress for another day. So I'll give Jamie Day some love for carrying that Aston Martin, but then also keeping that team in the race throughout the end of it. So with that being said, those are some awesome drivers of the races that we had. Now let's go to who had the moment of the race for each one of you all. Let's see. Let's go back to front. Rick, I'll kick it off with you.
It's not like it was a decisive moment, but the thing that two lap one incidents I can't choose again. It's very difficult for me. But first, the early finish of the 66, just one Monza, and then you're at the start of your 24-hour race, the race of the season, and I think it is the 11th turn, the double gauche, and you're done.
Hurt.
All your hard work, everything's gone. And in the same... No, that must be. Let's keep it at this one. This was not the moment of that decided the race, but this is what sticks with me.
I got you.
Also,
Michael.
because you go from such a high in Monza, winning from the Silver Cup, right? Silver, I think. Right? Silver Cup, and then from 10 to 0, 0 to hero. Hero to 0 isn't in this case actually. Yeah, was that's what immediately stuck with me.
All right, Michael, how about you?
I want to bring a different perspective to this. Not a driver, but a fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
At 4 a.m, a storm started rolling in, and this one fan, he went and woke up every single sleeping fan in the grandstand to warn them. And I think that, for me, just shows what racing is about. I just think that is why racing fans are the best. I think I fell asleep at that point, and he woke me up. He woke up the person in front of me. He woke up everybody in this grandstand just to say, "Look, there's a storm coming. You might want to get inside." And I think that is like the whole reason I like going racing, is to just meet people like that. On the race, I think my moment of the race was the Guven incident, because it was funny. That was it. Just, it was funny.
Bootsen didn't think so.
Oh, I know.
I thought it was funny. But yeah, no, that's my two standouts.
That's beautiful, Michael, and that's another great reason why I have you come on, because I love hearing stories like that, and honestly, we kind of lose a little bit of that humanity and sometimes outside, but this is why we have sports, because similar to what we've seen here in the US with the World Cup, you see it at racing events
I can't talk World Cup right now.
I'm sorry.
Too early. I can't have this now.
My commiserations to you guys, especially for how that ended. If you know, you know, but I understand, Rick. I apologize. My condolences.
Okay, it's coming home.
Oh, no. It's coming home every 4 years, so...
Oh, man. We got a little World Cup banner around here. Shanna, over to you. What was your moment?
Well, I mean, the Guven moment has already been mentioned. I went over to Bootsen after, mainly to ask, like, hey, can you go to the end? And the answer was yes, but they lost too much time. And then soon after, Morris gave the car to Alessio, and he came out of the car, and you could just see like his eyes was open, his face was just bright red, of course from the heat, but also probably I can imagine from frustration. And yeah, it's just always heartbreaking to see, because they were in contention for a podium, of course. And another moment that hasn't been mentioned yet was I believe it was the 32. I have the 32 BMW with Kelvin van der Linde, Jordan Pepper, and Charles Weird, who had to retire on the last lap of the race, who didn't make it, unfortunately. I don't know. It was just I felt really sorry for Kelvin van der Linde, who also I spoke to before getting into the car. I think it's just a massive sweetie, and then he had another grueling 24-hour race, especially retiring on the last lap. It's just that just sucks. So yeah, that.
Oh boy, yeah, that one. I know. Just if you get that far, fortunately they did still manage a 12th place, but even when you have to go through, you've done all 24 hours, you're going through that and you're managing all of this. I know that can really, really get under your skin. I kind of have, for my moment of the race, this one's a little bit, I like to go a little bit of an interesting route. My moment of the race was seeing the gold and silver cups actually duking it out up front. Some of the we mentioned the 58 the 58 Garage 59 McLaren, how they were leading on merit during the night. And honestly, I really wonder if they didn't have that radiator smashed in, could they have challenged that Lionspeed Porsche at the end? Another car, a couple of other cars that I'll also put some honorable mentions under. The number 5 Optima McLaren led during the night. Simon Oviga had his time out front. Mikey Porter was a name that was also there. Another name, someone Shanna and me mentioned during the pre-race combo, the 65 HRT Haupt Racing Ford Mustang. Finn Wiebelhaus, who our friend Wessel Mandan covers over in DTM, Max Royce, Maxime Mustin, Eduardo Costing. Unfortunately, they had a little bit of downtime towards the end, but they were competitive during the night. And honestly, for a series where you see a lot of the classes and unfortunately they don't get a lot of that respect, I think it was awesome to see the other classes duking it out during the night, giving it to the pros. And it kind of gives me that hope. One of these years, hopefully we don't see a pro win it all outright. I would love to see a gold or a silver car win a spot 24 hour. So I think for me, just seeing the other classes duke it out, I think a lot of us still have the impression that, towards the end, it does get a little bit more of, unfortunately, they're going to fall back because that inexperience, and basically just a true factoriness, if you will, of the pro class was going to show up and show out. But definitely seeing the other classes getting their shine during stages of the race, that has to stand out as the moment of the race for me. Well, guys, I cannot thank you guys enough for your contributions. I'd be remiss if I did not shout out Brianna Gunawan for her contributions to the Spa 24-hour weekend as well. To Michael for his photography while he was out there. And of course, Shanna, who I've mentioned a few times, being our main representative in the GT World Challenge Media Center over the course of the 24 hours. Guys, again, this has been fun. Please make sure you guys check out all of our work at GT Report throughout the season. You guys, this has been fun. I appreciate you guys' input on the Spa 24 hours. If you got, and with that being said, thank you guys so much. Look forward to working with you guys some more. And hopefully you guys get some more rest after Spa, okay?
I will be on the plane to Silverstone tomorrow, so no sleep for me yet. I will rest next week somewhere.
Michael Jolley, Shanna Lutgert, Rick Kieweit, thank you guys so much for being a part of this post-race roundtable.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
My sincerest thanks again to Shanna, Michael, and Rick for joining me for this Spa 24-hour race review roundtable. The links to their social media feeds will be in the description box to this episode in the show notes. And as mentioned, please check us all out on GT Report. That's www.gt-report.com. Again, that's www.gt-report.com. NSJQxGT-Report.com. We cover multiple sports car championships across the world, from World Endurance Championship in IMSA to GT World Challenge and numerous domestic national championships, among other series. We have racing news all season long, so log on and stay informed. As I've mentioned GT Report, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the man behind the site, our editor-in-chief, the one and only Miguel Bosch. A big thanks to Miguel for giving the green light for the collaboration on these episodes for the last month. And Miguel, know the door's open for you to come on and talk about some of your favorite series that you cover for the site. Speaking of favorite series, do you have a favorite you would like for us to talk about? Email us today at dalmotorsports@gmail.com so we can study them for a future episode. Again, that's dalmotorsports@gmail.com. Since we're on our housekeeping items, you can send us ideas on our social media channels as well. Make sure you follow us there. On Facebook, we're at the Not Speeding Just Qualifying Podcast. On Blue Sky is nsjqpodcast.bsky.social. On all other sites we're on, which is TikTok, Threads, Instagram, and X, we're all at the same handle at NSJQpodcast. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any new content that drops. Also, we are on a mission to reach 1,000 subscribers on our channels before the new year. Help us start the second half of 2026 strong by subscribing today. Lastly, if you want to follow me on my personal social media handles, links to those will be in the description box to this episode. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us for these collab episodes. I know they are longer than my usual runtime shows, but I hope the content and the discussion was well worth it. This has been Not Speeding, Just Qualifying, a podcast that goes just as fast as it sounds. I am David Lawrence, and I will talk to you all next time. Until then, you are not living life to the fullest until you're going flat out. Stay blessed, everyone.